according to the forensic authorities, who examined the strange death of a woman named Mary. Her body burned almost entirely away, leaving only a single foot untouched. In the end, investigators ruled the death accidental, attributing it to something they called the Wick effect. But the Wick effect cannot explain everything. For over 3 centuries, people have been found reduced to ash inside rooms that never caught fire, with objects inches away left perfectly intact. No flame, no accelerant, no logical source of ignition, just a human being consumed from within, in cases that science still cannot fully close. The most haunting detail in Mary's case was what survived. Her body was almost completely incinerated, yet a single foot remained, still wearing its slipper, resting beside a fine layer of ash. Fire that hot should have consumed everything. Instead, it seemed to stop at an invisible line, sparing one limb while erasing the rest, leaving investigators unable to explain the precise, selective nature of the burning. Here lies the scientific contradiction. The human body is roughly 60% water, which makes it extraordinarily difficult to burn. To cremate a corpse, industrial furnaces must reach nearly 1,000 degrees Celsius and run for hours. Yet in alleged combustion cases, bodies reduced to ash inside ordinary rooms, sometimes in minutes, without any external furnace, fuel or flame. That impossibility is exactly what keeps the mystery alive. Skeptics offer the Wick effect as the answer. The theory suggests clothing acts like the wick of a candle, while melted body fat becomes the wax, sustaining a slow, contained fire for hours. This could explain why extremities sometimes survive, since they hold less fat. But critics argue the Wick effect requires an initial ignition source, and in many cases none was ever found, leaving the theory frustratingly incomplete. What disturbs investigators most is the surroundings. In many cases, the victim is reduced almost entirely to ash, yet the room barely shows damage. Newspapers lie unburned inches away. Bedsheets remain crisp. Plastic objects sit unmelted. A fire hot enough to consume a human body should scorch everything nearby, yet the destruction stays impossibly localized, as if the flames obeyed a boundary no one can see or explain. This is not a single strange event, but a pattern stretching back over 300 years. Dozens of recorded incidents span multiple countries and centuries, each sharing the same eerie signature: a body largely destroyed, a surviving limb, an untouched room. Paranormal researchers, forensic experts, and skeptics have all tried to explain them, yet no single theory accounts for every case, and the pattern refuses to disappear. Modern science delivers a firm verdict. Analysts conclude that true spontaneous human combustion, ignition without any external source, has never been scientifically demonstrated. Every proposed hypothesis, they argue, lacks rigor and has never been reproduced. The consensus is that a hidden ignition source, a cigarette, a spark, an ember, always existed. Yet in certain cases, no such source was ever identified, leaving even confident skeptics with an uncomfortable, lingering gap. So what really happens in these deaths? The evidence points, again and again, toward mundane explanations: a dropped cigarette, the slow candle-like burn of the Wick effect, an ignition source lost in the ashes. Science insists a human body cannot ignite from nothing, and it is almost certainly right. Yet the truth is quieter and stranger. In a handful of these cases, no ignition source was ever found. The surroundings stayed pristine, and the burning obeyed a logic no one could reconstruct. That gap between what we can prove and what we can explain is exactly why these deaths still haunt the people who investigate them. Maybe every case has a hidden cause we simply failed to find. Maybe the Wick effect explains far more than we admit. But the unexplained ones remain: a body gone, a room untouched, a death that logic cannot fully close. And somewhere another case waits in an old file, still unsolved. If mysteries like this keep you up at night, subscribe now and stay with us as we uncover the death science